Oh, sorry everyone. Did I fool you into thinking my cold was better? The last two videos were filmed before I caught this horrendous cold. Anyway, hello everybody. And in this, what might turn out to be an actually quite useful video tutorial for once, I want to talk you through how to shoot automated focus bracketed images on a Fujifilm camera. And I'd imagine a similar workflow exists on any make of camera offering, this focus functionality. I thought I'd make this though, finding a video that actually covers all the steps and walks and talks you through them is, shall we say, tricky. Of course, one of you will now point me in the direction of 4,000 such videos, but hey ho, this is mine. Firstly though, why would you want to focus bracket or to give it its more common vernacular focus stacking, although this really refers to the process of blending the images later? Well, when shooting a landscape, for example, where you have a close foreground object and then a background disappearing to infinity, it may not be possible to get everything in focus without stepping your lens down to a point where diffraction may introduce some softness. Excuse me. It's handy therefore to focus, on your foreground, midground and background, but it's far easier to do this manually and just shoot however many images you think you might need, focused at different points throughout, your scene. Largely, 3 or 4 maybe. Automatic focus bracketing, or where you let the camera and lens do it all for you, is far handier when shooting, say, a macro scene where your lens is really, really close to your subject. In such cases, even stop down the nature of your lens's focal length and the proximity to your scene will result in a rather thin depth of field, and therefore you might want to shoot a higher number of frames to get back to front focus. Now, you can do this manually, of course, and if you're using a manual focus lens like my Leica 65mm, for example, you'll have no choice. But your camera can take care of this process for you if you have an autofocus lens and the camera has the functionality. To illustrate how I go about getting back to front or a back to front sharp image, let's work through this little project together. Now, I collected up some leaves and acorns and then just emptied them onto some black card. I know. And after some light rearranging, I arrived at a composition I quite liked, so time to shoot. Setting the camera up on a sturdy tripod is absolutely essential. Any movement between frames will result in ghosting, ruining your stack or your blend, whatever you want to call it. Then I set the camera up in full manual exposure mode using its meter to get an accurate exposure. Switch the drive mode to focus bracketing and the autofocus to continuous. Focus wise, then I identify the closest point my lens would focus on, so the highest point of the image in this case, and focus on that point. Then I dial the focus bracketing settings into my camera, choose the number of frames I want to shoot, the step, and then the delay between shots. And I'll go into this in a little bit of detail now. When it comes to choosing the number of shots you need, the general rule of thumb is that the closer you are to your subject, the more frames you need to shoot. Now, for this shot here, or rather the camera actually, shot 100 frames, focused from back to front over an area or depth of less than, 2 inches. Step then is the focus shift between each frame. Again, the closer you are to your subject or the longer your focal length, then the lower the step value should be set to in order to ensure there's enough overlap, between shots for the focus stacking software to grab hold of. In my example, I've set it to 1. Which is the lowest value. Think of it like overlapping frames when you shoot, a multi-frame panorama. Finally, delay refers to the time between shots. Now, I always choose to have no delay, and I can't really think of an instance where you'd want anything else, to be honest. But enlighten us in the comments if you know why you might want to dial in, a delay. Then it's just a question of either attaching a remote release or setting the camera's internal timer and taking the shot. Now, I prefer to do this, obviously, to avoid the possibility of any camera shake. Now, once the camera's rattled through all the images, it's time to actually stack them. And here's a quick recording of the steps I take. By the way, I use Helicon Focus to do the stacking and Adobe's DNG converter to convert the camera raw files into DNGs for the app to use. It can't use raw files.
I saw the devil, the country man. I saw the devil down the line I rode. He said to me, boy,
after some light editing in Lightroom, teasing out some shadows, playing with colour and warmth, and then adding a stylistic filmic phase, I opened the image in Photoshop to use the clone stamp to fill in some empty areas, and voila, here is the shot. I'm actually quite happy with it, really, considering it's manufactured state. So there you have it. Camera automated focus bracketing made simple. Perhaps I'll call the video that. And how you can go out and merrily fill up your memory cards, especially if, like me, and I've just done, you forget to take the drive mode out of bracketing and put it back into single shot, shooting 100 frames everywhere. Just quickly before we go, I'm thinking in the new year of putting together a comprehensive guide in the form of a video and a PDF, all about focusing, particularly for landscape photography. So covering things like the elements that affect focus, depth of field, where to focus to get maximum back to front sharpness in one shot, etc. That sort of thing. Now let me know if you'd be interested in that or not, as it'll be a fair bit of work to produce or put together, and if there's no interest, I just shan't bother. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow with a review of some Freewell filters, an all-in-one all-in-one circular polarizer and variable ND. Absolute genius. Right, see you tomorrow for that then. Ta-ra.